I'm here with Terry Nolan from Nolan Meats in Gympie. Terry has been a butcher for many years and also a business owner in Gympie. He has specialised in blondes and also many other breeds, and I'm just here today to chat to him about the blondes versus other breeds and what he's seen in quality with blondes over the years. Hi Terry, thanks for your time.
Afternoon, Wayne.
Just can you give me a bit of a background on your business that you actually have here now?
Yeah, Nolan Meats is a family-owned business. We started in about 1958, and so we've had about 58 years of butchering and meat processing. In about 1991, we invested in a small blonde herd, just as a bit of a interest. I think we started with 4 heifers from Encounter in South Australia, and we did a few embryo programs, and we've bought in embryos from Belgium and Canada, and we now run a herd of about 150 purebred blondes and about 600 crossbred blonde breeders. And whilst it sounds like a big part of our business, but the meatworks is the biggest part, and we'd like to try and experiment with things like yield and growth and feedlot performance and things, and we find that the blondes do a pretty good job for us in that area. Good feed conversion, good growth rates. Ideally, blondes are probably as good a terminal sire as you would get. I wouldn't recommend any commercial breeder having a straight blonde herd, but I think they cross beautifully with our Bos Indicas cattle in Queensland, whether it be Brahman, Sand Gertrudis, Drought Master, all those Bos Indicas crosses. I think they form a nice, economical, fast-growing, feed-efficient animal, and that's very suitable for the Australian consumer.
Okay, so really, when we talk about crossing, you'd believe blonde bulls crossing with other breeds are a really good quality?
Absolutely, and I think the large continental breeds, and whether like the blonde Aquitaine, Charolais, Limousin, those sorts of animals, I think they're best in a 3-way cross. And I'm not trying to be even-handed here, but if we had a Brahman shorthorn cow or an Angus Brahman cow, and as a producing dam, put a blonde Aquitaine bull over them, I don't think you'll get much better. And but we often retain the first cross heifers and have some 3/4 calves, and that's about as far as we like to go for commercial purposes. Naturally, from a stud point of view, we keep a lot of purebred steers, only to pick out about 15 bulls a year to sell.
Okay, no problem. So just coming back to a meat yield, can you explain just the difference in meat yields when you actually cross a blonde with another cow?
About 94 or 5, we put a 3/4 blonde heifer in the Brisbane exhibition in a carcass bone out. It was conducted by Woolworths, and it dressed out at 65% dressing percentage. That's your amount of carcass weight in comparison to live weight, so that was 65.1 from memory, and then it was boned out in Woolworths boning room at Brismeats, and it boned out at 83.1%. That gave us something like 56% saleable meat yield from live weight. The fact is that a lot of animals can't even dress out at 56%, let alone deliver that. You say, how do they do that? Well, they always carry minimal fat. We only need about 5 mils minimum to get our grain-fed accreditation. So if we can have an animal with sort of 5 to 7 mils of fat, we think that's pretty good. We like blondes because they're flat bone. We don't like big, heavy boned animals. We don't think they're very efficient. And we like fairly muscular sorts of cattle. So if you can optimise the fat, minimise the bone, maximise the muscle, you end up with a pretty high yielding animal. And the other thing I believe about blondes is that they're fairly fine textured meat, and I think that's to do with all flat bone sort of breeds of cattle. And so yeah, there's a few things going for them, and as I say, I think they make an ideal terminal sire.
All right, well look, thank you very much for your time, Terry. I really appreciate the information.
No worries.